Hello, everybody. I can't promise a poetry recital here, but I'll say my recap. So yesterday we had a very productive day with valuable insights that were shared on vector control, JEDC, training initiatives, and so forth. So we started off with Dr. Tessa Knox providing an overview of PacMOSSI's activities. So she noted that while there were no significant changes with malaria, dengue outbreaks have been increasing in several countries, and she also outlined the progress made in vector control assessments, online courses, and practical trainings aimed at strengthening local surveillance capacity. And for 2025, Tessa also mentioned plans to refine course content, expanding the mentoring program, and also developing new technical manuals. This session, the first session, was facilitated by Dr. Amanda Murphy, and then she also presented on the vector control needs assessment and its outcomes. She highlighted improvements in surveillance activities and increased confidence in key skills. However, it should be noted that while some areas showed progress, vector control activities had largely remained unchanged. This is because the survey that was done captured basic qualitative information, which depends on outbreak situations, and it doesn't assess for the quality of vector control. Professor Maxine Whitaker then discussed the integration of gender equality, disability, and social inclusiveness into vector control programs. She emphasized addressing gender inequality, geographic isolation, and the need for inclusive practices to ensure accessibility for all, particularly for women and people with disabilities. This ensures that gender and disability and social inclusiveness is considered in all health programs. I then did a presentation on our communication efforts. So I highlighted our growth in Facebook and content interactions, and I also discussed our future plans to increase visibility and facilitate knowledge sharing and promote evidence-based actions that are aligned with JEDC and One Health. And then we had a short break for Q&A, and then Dr. Edgar Polo took over and facilitated the second session, which focused on country perspectives of recent dengue outbreaks. So we heard from Tonga, Lesieli Tisiola reported a spike in dengue cases following sports events and emphasized the importance of community engagement, particularly through church leaders. From Samoa, we heard from Alosio Tagilima, and he shared how indoor residual spraying was accepted due to education on mosquito-borne diseases. From Fiji, we also heard from Tulia Victor Kurunduando, who discussed challenges such as manpower shortages, climate change, and the role of tourism when it comes to raising awareness. And then Nelson Ngarai from Cook Islands noted the recent introduction of IRS with minimal pushbacks so far. We then heard about the PacMOSSI online course from Mel Koinari and Tim Freeman. They emphasized its impacts and plans for future expansion. They also stressed the importance of refining course content and broadening participation across the region to strengthen local vector control capacity. Brian Johnson from QIMR then spoke on potential upcoming practical training in vector control. This is aimed at building hands-on capacity in mosquito surveillance and vector control operations. Edgar then followed this by expanding on the mentoring program, which pairs experienced professionals with mentees to build technical and professional skills. He also emphasized the success of the program, noting increased confidence and professional development among participants, and there will also be a second cohort launched later this year. Rod Bellwood then gave us an update in country technical support. He discussed his visits to Samoa, Kiribati, and Tonga to assist with the mosquito surveillance and residual techniques. And then we had another Q&A session, and throughout both Q&A sessions for session 1 and session 2, we talked about community engagement and the role of tourism when it comes to raising awareness, and then we talked about challenges in gaining public acceptance of IRS, and then we also talked about the financial constraints of it, and then we also spoke on insecticide resistance and the effectiveness of indoor residual spraying, with an emphasis on the need for strong mosquito surveillance and training in techniques like mosquito trapping and species identification. We then covered training and capacity building as a recurring theme, and then countries also highlighted that it was important for ongoing training to occur to strengthen mosquito surveillance and IRS implementation, and then there needs to be continued support and resources to ensure sustainability of vector control efforts. Thanks for listening.